eliminating smart sysadmins and bringing someone not so smart to use a mouse. But change management is very critical. And a simple question is, when you make changes to an existing environment, existing machine, does your system allow the possibility of reverting those changes and taking it back to a prior state?
Yes, so the answer for both is yes. So the heart of data center automation is change management. And so we do have well-defined processes in the system that you can set up that allow for people operators, for instance, to actually go through change management, well-defined change management processes, if you like. But we believe that most of the systems management products in the market went off-road a long time ago when they tried to automate too much of what the sysadmin and the team does. And that's where I think a lot of the consulting costs got out of hand. So our product is designed really to be a real-time ad hoc system to get in. So you actually get in very quickly, and we can actually, unlike a lot of existing products, where you can insert our product at any point in the machine's life cycle. So if it's been running for a year, you drop our agent, and it's instantly manageable. But then you can layer on processes and start locking down on change management. The reversion piece, you can do that for certain things like RPMs or packages and things like that. It's all auto-install or upgrade. In the case of things like running an actual shell script or something, those processes, there's no way to revert them other than moving to like an old image for a VM or an AMI or something.
Okay.
But
great.
that's a property of just the fact that that's how machines work.
Okay. And one more question. You talked about scripts, where you have a nice script store.
Yeah.
What if my scripts are better than your scripts? Can I sell them to you?
Can you sell them to me? Yes, absolutely. Okay. So the idea is that, there's probably a marketplace of there's a whole set of people who will never publish scripts, right? They're proprietary. We do believe there is a lot of content that's either open sourced or, for instance, ModKit is a great example, right? It's a MySQL toolkit out there to help you tune and deploy MySQL. Well, instead of it being in a package, an RPM, where you have to download it to a disk and install it and go through FTP it over to 50 machines, it's a one-click install. So it just eases the transition for people to be able to grab content very quickly and deploy it very quickly. So
That's
we
great.
believe it.
So if I can take my scripts and I can do exactly the same thing that you just said, which is, let's say I have 100 machines.
Yes.
I upload one script and I say deploy.
You got it.
Okay.
I can literally show it to you in 2 minutes.
Great.
It's
Thank
that
you.
easy. Thank you.
So just a couple of quick questions, really. So on the scripting side of things, I just wondered if you'd looked at either graphical tools to create those scripts that would be compatible, or a graphical, almost like a process, like, so you could actually allow operators to automate some of their trivial tasks in a more graphical way. And the second one was around privileges. So is there anything in the system so that you can, certain operators can only do certain things to certain machines? And
Absolutely. So answer to both questions is yes. Mike, we are actually built on about 4 years of IP that was developed prior to us actually starting the company. So my co-founder had a previous company that was developing an on-premise version of this, and so we inherited a lot of that code. So that does have a graphical interface for it. We have been but the company is only 6 months old, so we've been at this. So we are going to do an HTML5 base. That's not okay. All right, that's not a valid excuse. But we are going to offer graphical tools to build multi-step workflows directly in the system. The support is there in the platform. We just haven't exposed it through the UI.
Okay.
The second question is, we have full RBAC built in the system. So you can actually do operators, architects, and admins, or any level. So we have level 0 through 9. When we launch, we are in early access now. Today, we've actually limited to 3 roles: operator, architect, admin. But you can actually do the full range of access control. The other very cool thing about our system, which most other systems management products in the market don't do, even the highest end, is we do full impersonation of users on in-target systems. So let's say you have a Linux a Linux privileged user that is set up for a sysadmin product or a product to run. We can actually impersonate that. Our agent will run at that privilege level. So it can alleviate security concerns that if there was a vulnerability or an attack, it couldn't do a privilege escalation and wreak havoc like that monkey on your machine. So,
I'm curious what you've uncovered as kind of like the limits of the agent-based architecture. So how big is your biggest deployment? I think of Bank of America with almost 50 data centers, 100,000 servers. The idea of having this single view across all that, and I was very impressed by the demo yesterday.
Thank you.
But just I'm wondering, what are the scalability limitations, and how far have you pushed it to date?
Yeah, that's a great question. In early access, we're on hundreds of machines. We're not on thousands yet, so we don't know the limits of it yet, obviously, practically. But the way the architecture is designed is The main database, is obviously, we have it so it can do multi-tenancy and can actually scale horizontally. The rest of the tiers, the app server tier, the web tier, et cetera, are stateless. So if needed, for instance, we can actually, obviously grow the database and file system horizontally, and then scale the web tier as needed, completely stateless, crank them out. We are going to do hosted data centers, at a data center, a physical data center, and then spill over to EC2 or rack space as needed to provide us sort of that scalability. But the answer is, architecturally, we're built to scale. Obviously, with a name like ScaleXtreme, it would be a little embarrassing not to scale, but we are, but we architected for there. But practically, we'll see how we get there.
All right.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.